If you've been a fan of this channel since the beginning, you probably will remember this video, where I specifically made an effort to beat SJB's best deflation run. And back then, I really didn't know what I was doing, which is shown by the fact that my strategy kinda sucked if I'm being honest. And it wasn't long before I made another video where I pushed the limit of deflation a lot further. But even then, I still was quite a bit far from actually reaching the true limits. Especially because I was using my fully maxed out laboratory and a specialist building as well, which the old record holders on Flash did not have access to. So with that being said, it's time for me to finally figure out what the true limit of BTD5 deflation is without using agents or premium upgrades, because that was the rule set I was adhering to back then, despite me only ultimately getting to round 105 during my second attempt. Now if you didn't know, deflation gives you the same difficulty modifiers as medium mode, but you start with $50,000 on round 30, and can never earn any more money afterwards. But what I can do is enable the helicopter specialist building in order to make this tower 5% cheaper, then get a 0-0 village in order to provide an additional 10% discount to both of the 0-4 helicopters that I'm going to be getting next. You see, their supply crate ability won't give us any extra cash of course, but it still can provide extra lives. And after that, I enable the Ice Monkey Specialist building to get a 5% discount on that tower as well, before setting up an Arctic Wind within the range of the village in order to slow down all the regular balloons that pass by, along with a 2-4 Absolute Zero as well. The third tier Ice Shard upgrade is insanely powerful against the regular balloons, especially since they'll be getting slowed down by the Arctic Wind as they pass by it, while the fourth tier upgrade gives us an activated ability that can slow down every balloon on screen all the way up to ZOMGs by 50%. And after that I activated the Bomb Tower Specialist building to get a discount on the MOAB Mauler that I wanted to build, but first I sold the village that I was using over here and actually built a 0-0 village in order to discount a second one since I'm planning to keep that village permanently, before then getting the MOAB Mauler within its range. Then I actually switched back to the Ice Monkey Specialist building since that will be the only way our current defense can actually pop camo lead balloons, thanks to the perks that they get from their building. And now, my plan is to farm as many extra lives as I can from the helicopters, while also using the Ice Monkeys to help us get as far as possible before we have to sell off the helicopters and ultimately build our final defense. And that's why I put the Ice Monkeys so far back, in order to let the balloons get really far down the track every round, and extend how much time that we have to farm extra lives with. And if you're thinking that I should just use a regrow farm, well, on deflation mode, the rainbow balloons only spawn one zebra balloon, no matter how early that the round is, and I was actually able to create this weird system that was indefinitely maintaining them without them ever getting destroyed, which probably could be run forever, or at least for a very long time. However, I won't be using that today. But if this video ends up getting 600 likes in the first 24 hours, I'll push the record even further that way as well. Now don't forget, I actually farmed over 4 million lives not too long ago and set a pretty big world record for the unlimited version of deflation during a live stream. But since I wasn't using any stalling techniques during this run, I figured that eventually I should start using the downdraft ability on my helicopters in order to blow the ceramic balloons backwards and therefore make the rounds take even longer. That way, I'd have of course more time to generate extra lives. And when I got to round 72, I decided to see just how long I could juggle this regrow ceramic balloon without actually popping it, which really went on for a little bit longer than I expected. But overall I have to say, I was really surprised by just how well my defenses were holding up as we were getting closer to the round 85 mark. And keep in mind, once we get past it, all the MOAB class balloons will be gaining extra speed and health every single round, while the non-MOAB class balloons will also gain extra speed. Now, once we had to face the first ZOMG on round 85, I made sure to use my helicopters in order to get it popped down, which really took quite some time honestly. And I was hoping that if I quit out of the game on round 86, I could get an easier round and farm lives with my helicopters for a bit longer. However, this didn't end up working out, as despite having easier RNG on the second try, my defenses still simply weren't able to keep up any longer. But at this point, I did have about 10,500 extra lives, which definitely made me happy, and I switched back to the Bomb Tower Specialist building now in order to build up more MOAB Maulers within the range of the village that I had got, along with upgrading that from a 0-0 up into a 2-1 village in order to give my bomb towers extra range, pierce, and attack speed. And after that, I built another village near the Ice Monkeys and used it to be able to afford a 2-4 Ninja Monkey, which has its own activated ability that can slow down all newly spawned balloons, which also affects ZOMGs just like the Ice Monkey, and they stack together as well. And of course, you know I had to use my extra bit of leftover money to get a 0-1 Dart Monkey. Now, this defense was working out pretty well, I'd have to say, at least in the beginning of free play. With the Ice Monkey stall and Ninja's Monkey stall, I could really get the ZOMGs crawling for a bit, which allowed the bomb towers to take advantage of their peers and destroy them all at once. However, as we kept on pushing forward and got past the round 100 mark, I could honestly tell that this defense wasn't faring nearly as well as I had hoped. But at least I do have all those extra lives, and on round 105, I leaked for the first time, although it was basically nothing. But I was thinking that moving the ice towers up here could be better, since the balloons all have to pass through this section of the track several times. Plus, the ice short attack was dealing some decent damage to the MOABs earlier as well. But when I first tried this out, my game actually visually froze, which has been happening recently. But the weird thing is that this time, I wasn't even using an auto hotkey script. So I should probably listen to this comment that mentioned my graphics drivers being an issue. Now, we were able to get through a couple more rounds at this point, but on 108, it really seemed like that all the non-MOAB class balloons were the real issue, so I figured it would make sense to use the Ice Monkey Specialist building in order to get up a second 2-4 ice right here, in another spot where the balloons have to pass through several times. But going forward, I was slowly bleeding lives and could tell that things were getting super tough by round 111. And yeah, sure enough, on 112, something quite tragic happened. Well, it was tragic to me, alright? As I watched my lives quickly get ripped away by the thousands, with an insane amount of balloons leaking through, before ultimately, I totally ran out of lives altogether. And honestly, this is where I have to admit defeat when it comes to this specific challenge. You see, I had actually proven my friend Albi wrong about the value of stall towers when I set that deflation record on stream that I mentioned earlier. But the thing is, those towers were only so great because I was using an insane amount of special agents, along with the fact that again, I was able to farm over 4 million lives by using the Banana Farmer Pro to infinitely stall balloons as well. But when it comes to a more restricted rule set, those stalls simply do not have any real value at all. And the thing is, Albi actually managed to get all the way up to round 110 without using agents or premiums as well, but he also didn't even use the Monkey Lab or Specialist buildings either. So all I can really say is, my hat goes off to you, my friend, because that is absolutely insane. And of course, his run will be linked in the description of this video, but I just want to make it clear that Albi is no longer involved with BTD5 anymore, so don't expect him to be coming back and pushing this record anymore himself. But maybe one of you watching this can be inspired to go for it yourself. And with that being said, I really hope you've all been enjoying the daily uploads. I know this one was a bit smaller, but I was really trying to spend some time with my mom for Mother's Day, and I'd also love to hear any ideas you have for tomorrow's video in the comment section below. And the funny thing is that Albi's strategy really wasn't very different than mine to begin with, as you can see there, which I guess just goes to show that there's not much optimization left on the table for this run in general. However, it was very clever to use a ground 0 in order to make sure that he actually got through round 109, and then you can see he ultimately failed to 110 right here.